Hey guys, today we're going to be breaking down the top 25 for the AP poll that just came out this past week, looking at where the teams are ranked, seeing if they're ranked too high, if they're ranked too low, or if they were pretty much ranked right where they belong. So let's get started. Coming in at number one, it's pretty obvious who that was going to be. We have the Georgia Bulldogs, back-to-back two-time champs. They have a really easy schedule. It's not really their fault. They were supposed to play Oklahoma this year, but that game got canceled because Oklahoma's coming to SEC in 2024, so they'll just wait till then. But pretty much it's going to be a cakewalk. The SEC East, Tennessee should be pretty decent, but it's pretty much Georgia's to take, so they are right where they should be. They have an elite defense. They have Kirby Smart, Carson Beck at quarterback. Easy schedule. They are the two-time back-to-back defending champ. Really, where else could you put them? They've earned the right to be number one until someone supplants them. Coming in at number two, we have Michigan, another back-to-back Big Ten champ. They've beat Ohio State bad the last 2 years. You got Harbaugh. He's got some off-the-field things going on, but it looks like the NCAA really can't get anything to stick with him. They have J.J. McCarthy. They have a good defense. They have Donovan Edwards. They have Blake Corum. Loaded team. This team should be better than it was last year. Defense should be excellent. Offense should be good. Yeah, they're not going to score 50 points per game, but they're going to be efficient, and they're going to run the ball and control the clock. Michigan, to me, if not Georgia number one, I think Michigan would be the next pick that I'd have to go number one because they are the defending Big Ten champs, and pretty much a lot of the team is coming back, and we already know who their main position players are. Georgia and Michigan both ranked where they should be. Coming in at number three, Ohio State. Who's going to be the quarterback? Kyle McCord? Is it Devin Brown? This team is loaded with 5 stars. Their defense last year was okay. It was average. It should be much improved this year. This team is stacked. Ryan Day, quarterback guru. I would say they are hands down the third best team. Some people might argue they're number two. Some people might even be so far-fetched as to say they're number one. But 2 or 3, Ohio State has earned it. They should have beat Georgia last year. Should have, but they missed that kick. They lost it. This team is stacked. I think it's possible they beat Michigan this year. But either way, Michigan's team came back. So they're number 2. Ohio State rolling out a new quarterback, but they're right where they should be. They're within striking distance of both Michigan and Georgia. Coming in at number 4, Alabama. We all know the story. Nick Saban, loaded roster, 4 5-stars everywhere. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. It's Bama. They're going to do what they do. Tommy Rees is at the offensive coordinator. I don't know how I feel about that, but Nick Saban's wanting to go more old school, the way he used to play. So we'll see how that works out. Kevin Steele, defensive coordinator coming over from Miami. He's okay. He's about 100 years old. He's a good defensive coordinator. The team is loaded. I could probably call plays there and still have a top 10 defense. They're on a revenge tour. And they got left out of the playoffs last year. Saban was mad about that. They don't have a quarterback, though. I think Bama's going to be good, but I'm thinking 10-2. For some reason, that's just what I'm feeling. I just don't think it's going to click. I think Bama lost a lot of great pieces last year. I mean, quarterback, we all know who it was, and now they don't even know who their starting quarterback is. I think that's going to hurt them. I think they're ranked a little too high here, but really, who else are you going to put there? So I'm fine with putting Bama there at 4. LSU, 5. SEC West champs. They have really high expectations this year. They're not sneaking up on nobody. Everybody knows what they did last year. I think that changes things. I think it puts kind of a target on their back in the SEC West, but the team is loaded. They have Harold Perkins at linebacker. They're a true threat to Bama in the West, but I think they're ranked way too high. I don't think they're going to sneak up on anybody this year. I just don't see it happening. I think LSU is going to come in second in the West. Bama could very well win the best. For some reason, I'm thinking LSU is a 9-3 team. That's a good year, but I think they're ranked way too high at 5. USC, number 6. Come on. Caleb Williams, they were lighting it up last year. They ended last year on a horrible note. Back-to-back losses, lost to Utah, lost to Tulane, but they're way ahead of schedule. Lincoln Riley's done great things, way ahead of schedule. But they have to win the Pac this year. If they do, they have a clear path to the playoffs. This team's loaded. They lost Jordan Addison, but they retooled. They did great recruiting. They did even better through the transfer portal, and they have back-to-back possibility for a Heisman winner in Caleb Williams. This team is stacked. I think they've definitely earned it being at number 6. I think they should be in front of LSU. If they were playing, I personally would put my money on USC to win, and we know who Caleb Williams is, and we know what he can do. That defense just has to be a little better, guys. Just don't give up 6,000 yards per year. Don't give up 50 points per game, and they're in. So they have a clear path to the Final Four. So USC, I'd say they're just a little too low. I'd move them up to number 5. Penn State, number 7. This is a pretty stacked team. We know what their defense is going to be with Manny Diaz. We know what he can do. They have Drew Aller at quarterback. Stacked team. Their main issue is they don't really have any great wide receiver playmakers, but they have Nick Singleton at running back. The Big Ten East is loaded. Franklin's won it before. He knows what he can do there. Penn State, I think, has earned the right to be top 10. I don't have a problem with them being number 7. The Big Ten East is stacked. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. It's going to be rough. I can see the Big Ten getting another 2 teams in the Final Four this year. Penn State's right where they should be. I would honestly still even put them in front of LSU nonetheless, and they have a pretty easy schedule. FSU, Florida State, Mike Norvell. What a turnaround last year. Jordan Travis, he's a legitimate Heisman candidate. FSU reloaded through the transfer portal. This team is stacked. They've been signing class. Their class coming in for next year is loaded, and everyone's wanting to transfer there. They got the NIL working. That was an issue previously, not an issue anymore. I think FSU is right where they should be. They should be in front of LSU. Why is LSU in front of FSU? FSU beat them last year. They're going to beat them again this year. It is what it is. Florida State should be in front. I would move them up to 7, and I would even put LSU behind them. Clemson, number 9. Everybody forgot about Clemson last year. Seems like no one's really been keeping track of them. They've come a long way. They finally have improved their offense. They're bringing Riley over from TCU. Kate Klubnik at quarterback. He showed some good things last year. He showed some bad things. But the team has been tinkered with. They've been reloaded. Offensive coordinator will be better. Defense should be legit. They've won 7 of the last 8 ACC championships. This team is loaded. They're right where they should be. Top 10. ACC is not very good of a conference. Florida State's their main competition. Outside of that, Clemson is probably going to steamroll everybody. Clemson versus FSU will be an elite showdown. I think Clemson's right where they should be. I could see people flipping between them and FSU, which one should be higher, but I'm fine with them at number 9. Number 10, Washington. This team is loaded. Michael Penix Jr., he's a Heisman candidate. I personally think as of right now, preseason, he's the Heisman frontrunner just because Caleb Williams has won it once before, so I think that takes a little shine off of him winning it. I mean, is he going to be an Archie Griffin? Is he going to win 2 Heismans? I think that's pretty hard to do. Once you've done it, I think people want to see someone else, usually. So Penix might be the front runner as of right now. They have Rome. He's going to be a beast. They led the FBS in passing last year, but the Pac-12 is loaded. It's a shame that the Pac-12 is getting dissolved. What a good year the Pac-12 had last year. They're going to have an even better year this year because there's so many teams that we're expecting a lot from. Washington, I think they deserve to be a top 10 team. They were fun to watch last year. They're right where they should be as well. Next, coming in at 11, Texas. 2 words, too high. The pressure is on Steve Sarkisian. We got Ewers at quarterback. If he's healthy, he's going to do great this year. If he's healthy last year, they beat Bama. No doubt about it. That's how close Texas was to having an all-time year of recent history. They move to the SEC next year. They have a lot to prove. Final year in the Big 12. It could go either way. It could be a good year. It could be a bad year. The only reason I'm cautious is because we do this every year with Texas. When are we going to stop? Every year is Texas's year, and they're back, and they have a complete letdown. Last year, to me, letdown. Yes, they improved on their 5-7 that they had back in 2021, but is that really the expectations for this loaded team? No. Sarkisian better right the ship. To me, they have no business being 11. Yeah, keep them in the top 25, but I'd have them 20-25, not 11. Way too high. I think we've learned from Texas. Don't give them lofty expectations. Let them prove it. Let them earn it. They will at some point. Let's give them that chance. Next, coming in at 12, we have Tennessee. We have Joe Milton at quarterback. Josh Heupel, we know what he can do. We know the offense is going to be loaded. We know what he's going to be drawing up plays. He has the air raid. He loves to run the ball. He loves to throw the ball everywhere. They have Staley. They have Matthews. Team's loaded at wide receiver. Yeah, they lost Hyatt last year, but that's okay. They're going to retool. But I would not be surprised to see them take a step back. Last year, they beat Bama. They lost to Georgia, but they beat Bama. That was Tennessee's coming out party. Now everybody knows what they are. They know to take them serious. They're breaking in new quarterback this year. A couple position players have changed. I would not be surprised to see them take a step back. When I say take a step back, I don't mean 6-6. I think 9-3 would be really good in the SEC East with Georgia there. I could see 8-4. I think Tennessee's a little too high here. I don't think they should be 12. If their whole team was coming back from last year, yeah, they're top 10. But this year, with some of their best playmakers missing, I think it's a little too high. But I still think Tennessee's a good team. But I'm thinking 8-4, 7-5 at worst, and 9-3 at best. Coming in at 13, Notre Dame. For some reason, I'm thinking they should be higher. I'm really thinking they should be higher. Marcus Freeman. Last year started horribly slow, but finished extremely high. Their offense should be powerful this year. That's pretty surprising saying Notre Dame when they really don't light it up. Definitely did not light it up last year. But they got Sam Hartman coming in at quarterback from Wake Forest. We know what he did back in 2021. A lot of people were talking Heisman back then. Last year, not so much, but we know what he's capable of. Their defense is going to be good. If their offense can be better, this is a legit team, guys. I really think Notre Dame, they always have a tough schedule. They play everybody. They don't run from anyone. But I think they should be a little higher. When I say high, I'm not talking 4. I'm talking 9, 10. I'd have no problem putting them there, especially with the addition of Sam Hartman. Coming in at 14, Utah. Kyle Whittingham, back-to-back Pac-12 champs. Rising's hurt. We don't know if he'll start week 1, but he's banged up. If they don't start, that's going to be hard versus Florida. But back-to-back Pac-12 champs. Rising being hurt puts a little bit of a damper on what could be another legit year. Utah's always tough. They never get pushed around. They always play hard. They lost a lot of pieces. I would love for Utah to be 14, but with Rising out, I would think this is a 16-17 team coming into this year. I think Utah's a good team. The Pac-12 is so loaded, so much offense. I think they're a little too high. I'm fine with them being 14 just based off of last year, maybe, but I think they should be knocked down a couple of slots. This is a team, I just think we're riding too high off of what they did last year. I don't think they're going to replicate it this year. If they play USC, to me, USC has them this year. So I'd move them down a couple slots. Coming in at 15, we have Oregon. Oregon, to me, should be in front of Utah. Bo Nix, quarterback. He's going to be a Heisman candidate coming into this year. Dan Lanning, they're going to have a good defense. They're going to be a tough team at the line of scrimmage. This team's going to be dangerous. They have Irving, a running back. Lots of pieces. Well-rounded team. I would not be surprised if we're seeing another 10-3 year. To me, they're the biggest threat, them and Washington, the biggest threat to USC. All three of those teams could be legit top 10 teams. I'm fine with Oregon being 15. I would move them up here. I think they're more of a 12 or number 13 team coming into this year. Just a couple slots higher, but they should be in front of Utah to me. Coming in at 15, K-State. Big things. The Big 12 defending champ. What a surprise that was when they beat TCU. They have the highest ranking here since 2004. Good for them. Quarterback, Will Howard, legit quarterback. They won 10 games last year. Do you know how hard that is to do in Kansas State? What a tough team. Yeah, they lost to Bama, but that's okay. They won the Big 12. Who could have seen that coming? Kleiman, quarterback, coach, everything. The whole offensive line is back. They're going to be pushing the ball. Yeah, they lost running back from last year. They lost a couple pieces, but this is going to be a legit team. Big 12's not too tough this year. So K-State, I'm fine with them being here. They lost a couple pieces, but they're on the map now. Everyone knows they're there. I think 16's good. I think they'll drop down, might even finish the year in the upper 20s. Well, high 20s, 21, 22. But I'm fine with them opening up the year here as the defending Big 12 champs and having beat TCU, who went to the national championship. That's got to earn you something. Next, TCU, the team that went to the national championship, they got wrecked. So many teams went off to the next stage. They lost their quarterback. They lost Quentin Johnson. We know what they're going to do on offense. Sonny Dykes, air raid, Mike Leach disciple, they're going to be throwing it. They're going to run a little bit here and there, but there's big shoes to fill. Quentin Johnson was legit, and he's going to be good in the NFL. Chandler Morris is at quarterback. What's going to happen? I think TCU takes a step back. But TCU did go to the national championship, even though they got train wrecked in the national championship. They've earned the right definitely to be in the top 25, just having gone to the national championship, finishing the year number 2. So you got to put them somewhere in the top 25. Even if they fall out, you got to at least put them in there. I'm fine with them being 17. Do I think they're going to finish the year in the top 25? I honestly don't think so. I'm seeing 6-6, 7-5 this year. They're retooling, so they just naturally have to take a step back, guys. Next, we have Oregon State. Won 10 games last year. Put a beating on Florida in the bowl game. It's a real shame here. The Pac-12 is so deep. Oregon State has no home after this year. But yet, they're in the top 25. Went 10-3 last year. Blew out UL. They got DJ Uiagalelei. I can never say that. That's the best I got. We'll just call him DJU. He's coming in at quarterback. He's going to run it. He's going to throw it. This guy's like 9 feet tall, 500 pounds. Who's going to stop him in the Pac-12? Really? Who does Oregon State play that's going to be able to tackle this guy? They're going to do good to me this year. But the Pac-12 is legit, top to bottom, one of the deepest conferences. So I wouldn't be surprised. I think 9-3 is at the best case scenario for Oregon State, just because the Pac-12 is so good. But I think 8-4, 9-3, they have a legit shot at it. I think they're definitely ranked where they should be. Next, Wisconsin. Luke Fickell time at Wisconsin. They went 7-6 last year. They fired their coach. Leonard's gone. Phil Longo's bringing the air raid in here. They have 17 transfers, guys. They got Tanner Mordecai coming in from SMU from another high-flying offense. This guy's got 72 touchdowns in his career. He's coming in. He's got Phil Longo calling plays. Phil Longo can call some plays. This guy's going to have 35 touchdowns. That's a fact. Wisconsin probably never have a quarterback had 25 touchdowns. Since what? Russell Wilson was their last legit quarterback? Tanner Mordecai is going to be slinging it. They're going to be dunking, throwing downfield, running the ball hard. This is a legit. Luke Fickell's a great coach. Wisconsin, to me, hit the jackpot here signing Fickell. They got Brandon Allen back-to-back 1,200-yard running backs campaign. This team is right where they should be. The Big Ten is loaded. Wisconsin's coming in at 19. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to finish the year ranked, guys. This is a legit team. Don't hold 7-6 on them last year. Luke Fickell, Phil Longo, Tanner Mordecai. That's all you need to know. That's automatic top 25 worst case scenario for Wisconsin. Next, we have Oklahoma. Brent Venables. What a horrible disaster last year. 6-7. Getting train wrecked by FSU, getting drug all up and down the field. Everybody was putting the smack down on him. Brent Venables, great defensive coordinator. What happened? Their defense got worse last year. Was that even possible? It was. So, what do I really think is going to happen to Oklahoma? This is a talented team nonetheless, guys. They deserve to be in the top 25. They're going to get it together. They're going to start scoring. They're going to start tackling some people. That's all they have to do. Just get a little better on defense. Keep taking the baby steps. They lost so many games last year. Lost 5 by 1 score. But the defense should be better. That's the key. They came in with the number 5 recruiting class. Number 8 transfer class. Complete depth up and down the field. That's what Venables wants. That's what's going to make the defense better. Competition at every single position on defense. They have Dylan Gabriel coming back at quarterback. He was beat up last year. If he can stay healthy, I think Oklahoma is coming back. I think they definitely deserve to be where they are. You don't want to put them too high. You don't want to come in like last year, ranking them top 10, and they completely disappoint you. Put them in the 20s. Let them fight and slug their way up. I think they definitely deserve to be ranked, and I'm fine with them being ranked where they are. North Carolina. Last year, pretty decent year, even though it seems pretty quiet. They went 9-5. They got Drake. Look, Drake May is a legit quarterback. He's always going to be mentioned in the Heisman. They lost a lot of pieces last year. That defense was god-awful. Gene Chizik, I think, is going to have it a little better, but wow, was that bad. They got Chip Lindsey. They got a lot of teams. So, Chip Lindsey, coming in from UCF, he's going to be a little different than Phil Longo in the fact that he's not going to throw as much, even though Phil Longo runs the ball. This is a Gus Malzahn guy. I think he's going to try to do ground and pound a little more. That's going to take the ball out of Drake May's hands. Drake May is still going to get his because he's Drake May, but I think the UNC offense is definitely going to be taking a step back this year. And that defense, Gene Chizik will have it a little better, but gosh, they gave up 30.8 points a game, 437 yards a game. Wow. I guess you could put them in there. I'm fine with them being there. I do not foresee them finishing the year ranked in the top 25. I don't see it this year. I think they're taking a step back. I can see 7-5, 8-4 best case scenario going into a bowl game. I'm fine with you putting them there just because of Drake May, Mac Brown, and the fact that they went 9-5 last year, but they're definitely going to take a step back. Next, Ole Miss. Everyone's been harking on Ole Miss. Everybody's lost faith in Lane Kiffin. This guy has like 15 quarterbacks that could start in college right now on roster. If Jackson Dart comes out there, this team is going to be loaded. They got Quinshon Jenkins at running back, one of the best running backs in the country. B. Golding, left Bama, coming in, defensive coordinator. Ole Miss is... I have high expectations of Ole Miss. When I say high expectations, I don't mean they're going to be LSU last year and go 10-2 and win the SEC West. No. I think 9-3 best case scenario. 7-5 would be worst case scenario, but I can see a legit 8-4 or 9-3 team. I think Ole Miss is going to be legit. I think they're right where they should be, ranked in the upper top, ranked in the 20s, starting out the year top 25. Let them slug their way up. Next, Texas A&M. What a complete train wreck last year. 7-5 in 2022. Greatest recruiting class ever. Wow, what a disaster. Some guys transferred out. Hopeful Jimbo Fisher has learned his ways, and he's learned that he can no longer call plays because it's no longer 1983. So we'll see what they do. Obviously, this team is one of the most talented teams in the country, but last year on offense, they were ranked 101st, 22.8 points per game, 360 yards per game. How's that even possible? Bobby Petrino's coming in. We know what Bobby Petrino can do. We know what he did with Lamar Jackson, what he's done his whole career. The guy can call plays. The question is, does Jimbo Fisher keep his greedy hands off of Bobby Petrino? Bobby Petrino is a legit coach. He's been a head coach everywhere for a long time, so I think he would have told Jimbo, I have name recognition. I'm not coming in here unless you stay out of my business. And I think Jimbo Fisher said, all right, do you, and I'll just be the head coach. I hope they don't have issues. It's two strong personalities here. If Jimbo lets Bobby do his thing, Texas A&M defense will be legit. Their offense, just get me 28 a game. Just get me 28 a game, which isn't even much, and this will be a good team. I'm thinking 8-4 could be a legit season for them, and that would be an improvement, although Jimbo Fisher, for as much as he makes, should be doing a lot better than that, but it is what it is. I think 8-4 would be a happy improvement, and I'm fine with them being ranked there, even though they went 5-7 just based off of talent and Bobby Petrino coming in and scoring some points. Coming in at 24, Tulane, 2022 AAC champ. You got Willie Fritz. They beat USC. They beat them good. That was a great game. Quarterback, Michael Pratt, he returns. He's on a lot of awards watch lists. Tulane, guys. The offense of 2022, great offense. This is a good team. They lost some pieces. I'm fine with you putting them there at 24. Just based off of last year, how good they were last year, I see them taking a step back. They're not going to finish the year. I was indifferent. You could put them in the top 25. You can leave them off. They're AAC, so it might be a stretch putting them there at 24, but that's fine. Good props to them. When they lose their first game, they'll get thrown right out of the top 25. Iowa coming in at 25. Iowa. Kirk Ferentz. 8 games last year, they won. He has 15 starters back. 6 on offense, 6 on defense, 3 on special teams. We know their defense is going to be legit. We know they have one of the best special teams. This is a well-coached team on defense and offense. Nobody messes up, and they get a lot of picks, and they play hard. Kate McNamara coming in at quarterback over from Michigan. Their offense was historically pathetic last year. Historically pathetic. 251.6 yards per game. How's that even possible? It's a complete joke. But Kirk Ferentz has his son calling plays. They can only do better because you can't feasibly do worse. Is it possible? You have an experienced quarterback coming in. He should be able to game manage his way to 300 yards per game as an offense. I'm fine with them being a top 25 team. Kirk Ferentz has had a lot of good years. The offense should be better because it can't be worse. It's just statistically not possible, and they don't play anybody. Their schedule is cake this year. Probably one of the worst schedules I've ever seen in my college football watching life. I think it's very feasible. You have an 8-4 team. Worst, 9-3 to me is more than likely, so they definitely deserve to be top 25. That's a breakdown of the APT top 25 that came out last week. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button, subscribe, and that's the top 25. We'll see what happens this year and see where they finish. Thanks.